Hello, YouTube world. Tonight I'd like to talk about the mass shooting, what happened in Orlando, Florida. I do know what happened at a homosexual, or say a gay bar, more or less. And my hearts go out to all the victims of that mass shooting. The 49 got killed and the 53 got wounded. Even though I don't like the idea of homosexuality, matter of fact, I'm against homosexuality, but the people in that, the people in the gay club, the awful night, did not deserve that. And this guy, Omar Martin, if I mispronounced his name, I'm sorry, is to blame for that shooting. Now, I want to go more in depth about this. I read some articles and I looked into this a little bit, which is not hard to do. I read one article that said Obama says, radical Islam is not to blame, we are. I'm like, give me a fucking break. And I read somewhere this guy, Omar, pledges allegiance to ISIS. And that the FBI investigated like once or twice that I know of, and got cleared both times as a suspected terrorist. And he was born and raised in New York and somehow, I guess, moved to Europe. I'm not going to give this guy's life history, but somehow wound up in Florida, let's put it that way. And also, I like to point out, too, that this guy, Omar Martin, whatever his name is a registered Democrat. Imagine that. Now, I know you liberals, that this guy was a white male, blonde hair, blue eye, Christian, and a registered Republican. You will love that. You will go to town on that. Because what really got me, what really burned my ass the most, I've heard about this shooting when I went on your websites, it was almost like he was blaming the GOP for this. That's just the GOP's fault. This is the Republicans' fault. I'm like, give me a break. The shooting just happened. Yet you act like it's their fault. Yet Obama has the audacity to say this is our fault, not radical Islam. I tell you who's to blame for this, okay? It's not the American people. They're not to blame for this. I will go so far as this. Islam is not to blame for this. Christianity is not to blame for this. Judaism is not to blame for this. Even Buddha is not to blame for this. It is this guy, Omar Martin, wherever his name is to blame for this. He's the one that caused this. He's the one that done this awful deed, so this is his fault. And you can also say it was ISIS' fault, because they probably encouraged him, had something to do with this as well. Probably encouraged him to do some kind of terrorist attack within the United States, more likely. Can't confirm it, but it's a good theory, I believe. And what gets me, and I read this article, and I really can't, it astonishes me, Like I did this episode not too long called Never Let a Good Crisis Go to Waste. And then here we have a good crisis, and Obama is not going to let this crisis go to waste. So he's pushing for an assault weapons ban. That's not going to solve nothing. Let me tell you something. France is a prime example. They pretty much had the most strictest gun control laws you can think of. A gun control's not wet dream come true, okay? And look what happened to Paris, France, not too long ago. And more likely, they had assault weapons banned. Yet they got attacked by assault weapons. This guy, Omar, if he was going to do this, if he couldn't get the AR-15 legally, he's going to buy it illegally. He'll get one somehow. Which, more like what I understand, watching CNN, Fox News, and other articles I've read, he was planning this for several weeks. He was planning this. He was plotting this. And oh, by the way, talk about FBI background checks. The FBI investigated him twice and cleared him twice. So he slipped through their fingers twice. Yet Obama has the audacity to call for an assault weapons ban. Give me a break. The assault weapon, the AR-15, didn't do it. It's this guy Omar that did it. Okay? Yes, he had an AR-15 and a few other weapons and some explosives on him. This guy was going to plan on taking hostages. But let me tell you what I've read and heard so far about this guy. And had some experience, I had training in these type of matters myself. Okay. Now, first of all, but a few weeks before he done this shooting, this awful deed, I want to say maybe a month, maybe, he was freaking around different gay bars. Okay. He had a gay dating app on his phone, for I understand. Okay. They even saw him dancing with other men. They had like memes taking pictures. I think feeling places in a gay bar. I don't know. Okay. It sounds like to me, what I read and understand, this guy was plotting this all along. He was going around different gay bars to see which one he hit. and he probably hit the most popular one in Orlando, Florida, which named that club. Don't know the name, don't really care. But he picked that club. He figured this is the most popular gay joint in town because it has the most people. He went on the night what had the most people in it, and that's when on his rampage started spraying bullets at everybody, killing 49 people, wounded 53. And I read an article how one guy survived, God bless him, but barely survived with his life. Yet, because it's awful tragedy that happened, because the FBI cleared this man twice. Okay, so he went through all the process and everything else. And he got the AR-15 and everything else to do this awful deed. Yet, Obama is not blaming this man. He's not blaming radical Islam. He's blaming the American people for this. And it's not the American people's fault. I would say it's not even Islam's fault. It's radical Islamic extremist fault, which is this guy right here, who, by the way, is a registered Democrat, okay? He the one that did this. He the one that purchased the weapons, went into that gay bar, and committed that awful crime. And luckily, the policeman stepped in because they was armed and well trained and stopped him because it could have gotten a lot worse. That's why the parachute attacks was so bad, because the police wasn't properly trained, not properly equipped to respond to the situation like our police back home in the United States are. And thank God they responded and stopped him. Even though a lot of you liberals don't like the police, but they're the ones that stopped him because they was well armed and well trained to stop an event like this from happening. And just because this happened with the AR-15 and a few other weapons doesn't mean you should go around banning assault weapons. No, it does not. The Constitution, Second Amendment, still applies to even tragedies like this. And Obama is exploiting this crisis to push his political agenda to attack the Second Amendment. That's the only reason why he is doing it. That's the reason why he wants to do assault weapons ban. Not going to work. It didn't work in Paris. It will definitely not work in the United States. But Obama has the audacity to take this awful tragedy, one of the worst terrorist attacks since 9/11, and use this crisis to exploit his political agenda. And I would say to expand his political agenda because of the awful shooting, what happened in Orlando, Florida, which name is Omar, who is a registered Democrat, which in the beginning liberals was trying to blame the GOP for this. Sad, but true. Let me tell you something, and I will say this again. It's not the GOP's fault. It's not the Democrats' fault. I'll say that too. It is Omar's fault because he was plotting it and he was planning this probably for a month. Actually, don't take a rock science because he was going on different nightclubs. He's probably staging the areas, which one would be the best target to attack. And he found one, was at one particular nightclub in Orlando, Florida. I would say he is not gay. I think he was anti-gay because he made a lot of anti-gay remarks. So, to push his own political and religious views and thinking that, in my opinion, that he was doing the work of Allah, he went there pretty much did a kamikaze mission. He went in there to perform not a mass shooting, but a terrorist act in itself. Okay, because what little know of this guy, okay, and I know for a fact his parents, I believe, are Afghan descent, okay? Both his parents born in Afghanistan and somehow migrated to the United States. He was born in New York, so that makes him a U.S. citizen. But I was more likely he had Islamic background and raised by Muslim teachings, which is nothing wrong with that. But he let the wrong side of it, I would say wrong side, influence him and pledge his allegiance to ISIS. So he went in there and thought it was the work of Allah to go in there and kill homosexuals was work of Allah. Thought he was doing nothing wrong, and do some kind of kamikaze mission to go attack these people, the homosexuals. It was very sad. And I was so far this, they did not deserve. This is not the work of God. This is not the devil's work. Okay, this is Omar's work. God has nothing to do with this. Okay, we have no right to pass judgment on these people. Yes, I would say it. Homosexuality is an abomination against God. But that's not giving me or anybody else the right to go to a gay bar and start spraying bullets. It does not. Omar thought he had that right, and look what happened to him. He thought he more likely to think he's gonna wind up with what 79 virgins, some shit like that. He's found out the hard way that's not the damn case. It's not. So, before I shut this out, okay, make this very clear to you, YouTube world, okay. Now, it's not the AR-15's fault, okay. So we don't need assault weapons ban because this guy Omar, for stand, was suspected of terrorist activity. He got cleared by the FBI twice, so he slipped through the fingers. And and okay, and he was staged in that area. So go back train of thought, lost train of thought. I'm sorry. So like I said, it's not the AR-15's fault. It's not the GOP's fault or the liberal Democrats' fault. Okay, this is not the American people's fault. It is Omar's fault. Okay. Sorry. From what I understand, what I've read, Omar was staging his areas. He was staging an attack a month out, more likely, planning this, getting hooked up with homosexuals, trying to make friends with them, trying to convince them that he was gay. Because I heard one of the guys talking to and dealing with this guy was mad because he wouldn't come out of the closet. And all likely, Omar was not gay. He was planning his target, and he found it. That's what he was doing. So no assault weapons ban, no gun control law, none of that nonsense. That will not stop this from happening. This guy had it appeared in his head that he was going to do this. And once a terrorist like Omar got it in their head, they're going to commit this attack. They're going to make it happen no matter what. I had training on this. Trust me, I know. Well, YouTube world, thank you for watching. And remember, okay, remember, it's nobody's fault but Omar's. That's who should we blame for it. And that's it. Okay. Well, thank you for watching. Have a good day. God bless you and bye. Bye.